Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. We're live here at Adventure Unknown. If you're in St. Louis and haven't been out to Adventure Unknown yet, you're an entrepreneur, you're looking for a great network of people with cool amenities, I'll be able to show you around. So send me a message. Would love the opportunity to do that. You'll be able to see where we actually record this podcast here at Adventure Unknown with the help of Punchline Productions. So that's the amazing team behind everything that you see here that helps get this stuff out each and every single week. So we really appreciate their help and would love to have you out to Adventure Unknown. We have an awesome guest and episode lined up for you today. We've been connected on social media for a little over a year at this point. We've stayed connected, watch each other grow businesses. And a few months ago, started chatting back and forth. And then they had the opportunity to meet him up here for the first time at Adventure Unknown a couple weeks ago. I love what he and his company are doing. And they have an incredible story. And we were just talking about before some of the growth and the expansion that they're doing. But what they do is really change lives for the better. So excited to bring him on the podcast, tell a little bit about his story and what they do. So Rocky, welcome to the episode, man.
What's up, my man? Appreciate you having me out here.
Yeah, of course, man. So tell people.
This is exciting, too. Like, walking into this place, Adventure Unknown, I don't know if anybody's ever been out here. You walk in, Anna was on the wall, cigar feel. Like, this place is awesome.
It's so I just had my 1 year anniversary of being a member here a couple weeks ago, right? And so it's like, I look back on the last year, it's like, I have met some of the most incredible people that, and like even you just walking in and you see it every time, you're like, know those people. It's like such a cool place to be from the amenities, but then all of a sudden you're like meeting the people and all of a sudden you're doing business with people and you're sending business. Like, it's just a cool place to be. And I know you have a lot of clients up here too. So it's been a special place.
It is too. I mean, it's visually stimulating in this place. But like you said, I mean, I walked in and knew 5-6 people the first time I came in here. I was like, man. So when you feel that, you're like, man, I want to come back. I want more. And it's a cool spot for sure.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, cool. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. What you guys got going on.
My name's Rocky Aliberti. Live in St. Louis, originally from Maine. That's where, so I coach ice hockey at Lindenwood. I've done that for 10 years. Before that, I coached at a high school here in St. Louis. But living in Maine is kind of where the hockey passion came in. And we moved here at a younger age. Been into fitness my whole life. Was a general manager of Club Fitness for a long time, then turned into a district manager there, then started my own marketing agency similar to you. We were downtown at 15th and Locust, something I forget now, 13 Locust, 15th and Locust down there for about 8 years. Okay. Me and my business partner, Jimmy, did some really cool stuff. But we had a separation that happened, which was good. It was a good thing for both of us. I went and started working for a software company. I was a sales director for a software company for a while. But always knew I was going to get myself back into fitness. I mean, fitness is a passion for me. I mean, it's been what I've done my whole life, from playing sports to working out in gyms and just taking care of myself, eating right and stuff like that, which got me to start NEUAGE. Partners with us starting NEUAGE, all of us were on hormone therapy. Even my partner, Jason, I'm the one that introduced him to people to get him started. And, I started about 10, almost 11 years ago now. I forget how old I am. It's terrible. But, I started, not the business, but started taking hormone therapy back then and changed everything about me. It changed my entire life. At that time, I was 32 years old. Had a girlfriend. She was beautiful, awesome, cool person, still friends to this day. But I just didn't even I felt like I just didn't like her, didn't want to be around her anymore. And it was like a weird, my head was just like, I guess this is what happens. You get older as a guy. And I wasn't even that old, but in my head, I was that old. I was like, I guess this is what happens. You just don't like your girl anymore. You see grumpy old men all the time, running around, you're like, this sucks, Then I found out you could change that. And I did. I'll tell you what, I've never looked back. Your confidence, everything went up. And I'm like, when you don't have to sell something, you just have to tell your story.
Yeah.
it becomes such a passion, you know, and everybody always jokes around. If you can do whatever you want to do for the rest of your life, you're not working a day in your life. But a lot of people don't ever find that. And a lot of people say they found it, but they're full of shit because they just want to tell you they found it. So they make you feel like I'm doing it too, I'm winning. But, you know, when you truly do that, you know, like there's nothing like it. It's awesome. And that's what it turned into me is just being able to, I mean, I don't work in the clinics much anymore. You know, we had to pull ourselves back out to grow the business. We have managers in there, but every day I get to work in there. All I'm doing the whole time is talking to people. My nurses is like, you don't stop. Like I just person to person to person to person, because that's where I get my high from, is doing that. You know, it's just talking to people, hearing their story, telling my story, and there's no sales at that point. You know, you bond with people.
Well, you're literally just like living your life as the perfect example of like what it can do. And again, as you mentioned, it's like, it's not even selling. It's just like having a conversation saying like, oh, hey, and then people get, and that's why I love like showing up on social media and building a brand and doing all this stuff, is like all you're doing is helping the next person understand what's possible for them.
Yeah.
And then they get connected, and then all of a sudden they refer for their friends over to you guys, which I'm sure happens all the time. And it's like, hey, it's this building a brand and building a company through what you just do for a daily basis.
Yeah. You know what's really cool about what you do? Because this is the high I got from it when I was doing marketing, because my entire life has been based around marketing, building websites. You know, that was our whole company. SEO, Google AdWords, stuff that you do right now. And I love watching what you do, because like you catch up on the new trends, because if not, you're going to die in that business. Back in the day, people paid a ton of money for that stuff, but technology and AI and stuff like that changed it to where it's like a fight to the grind, because people can think they can do it on their own. But the coolest part about what you do, what we used to do in the past, is help people. But you don't only help people. When somebody hires you and says, hey, make my business better, they open up their entire book. They're like, hey, this is what I make, and this is where I'm trying to go. Show me how to get there. So all across so many industries, I got to learn, just like you're learning, what a plumber does every single day, and what are their books like that, all the way to a clothing line, to this. Like you get to see what they're looking at and where their stresses come from, and help them solve the puzzle to make it better. And to me, that's the coolest part of what you do every day. It's such
you learn so quickly. Right? And I tell people all the time, because I own the auto glass company. We just became a partner in an outdoor living company in New York, as well as a roofing company.
Your Builders of Authority are partnering with them, basically saying, I'm taking this over, let me get a piece.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And so that's kind of where I see with all this stuff, whether it's AI or digital marketing agencies, is really being more of a consultant than a doer. You got to do the do, but AI is going to take out a bunch of stuff, as we know, right? So we're just trying to be a little bit ahead of the game there, I think, in that regard. But I tell people all the time, is as we're setting up this new company, and as I've ran an auto glass company for 4.5 years, and I've never repaired or replaced it, I've never put up Christmas lights. Business is business like 80% of the time. It's the 20% that makes plumbing versus roofing versus all those things interesting and different. And that's the difference, right? But if you can't learn how to hire and recruit people, if you can't learn how to build a brand, if you can't learn finances, if you can't learn technology, you're going to struggle. Doesn't matter what business you're in, you're going to have a job, not a business.
Yeah, for sure. I think COVID taught us that too. It showed, not taught us that, showed us that. And if you didn't learn from it, that's where people are going to run into, you know, like that was a terrible time, but it also forced people to start automating their business or getting digital with their business, stop writing on pieces of paper, because that's archaic. You can't do that anymore. And there was still so many people doing that before that time. And that hit, and it's like, well, if you're doing that, you're not even getting paid, because we got to wear gloves, you know, like times are crazy. It made you change the way you operate doing business on there.
So how did NEUAGE get started? Walk me through a little bit about that.
All right. So, we were basically I was on a dock about 5 years ago with a buddy of mine that owns a company around here. And, you know, I sitting there asking him, because I wanted to invest in some stuff, branch off in some stuff. And I said, let me open up one of those. He said, normally we wouldn't do that, but we'll let you do that. So we got in that. My business partner, Steve, and Kathy. So I've known Steve since I've been, I don't know, middle of high school. Actually, that's a lie. Probably 8th grade, 9th grade. My old business partner, my ad agency, actually used to drive Steve to high school every day. So we were all really close. We all came from North County. He would have gone to Central. I went to Hazelwood West, but he ended up going to CBC. Me and Steve would hang out in college. Went to Mizzou. I'd be sleeping on his couch, up there, and just we've known each other for a long time. But he got married, went a different path. I went a different path, and just randomly at the Lake of the Ozarks, we saw each other, and this was probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. And immediately right back to it, like nothing happened, right back at it. And through that process. He said, if you ever have a business opportunity, I'm doing well, he's in mortgages, and he's like, I'm doing well, let's talk about it. I think a good thing that me and Steve did, that I'm actually going to drop some stuff about this soon, is we rebuilt a friendship. I think a lot of people see people with money or things like that, and it was never even a thought that I was going to ask them for something, because the opportunity wasn't there, because I was doing my own thing, but I think a lot of people fail, and they think that they can ask certain people for money or opportunities, and you haven't rebuilt or even built at all a relationship with those people. And when you build something really close to people, a lot of people say don't get in business with your friends, but I love being in business with my friends, because I've already weeded out all the bullshit that you've done in your life. I already know. I don't have to case net you. I don't have to do any of this stuff, because I already know your life. So I think a lot of people don't build that relationship when they go ask for the sale or ask for the money, and that makes for a bad business relationship and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I brought it to him, and so I got this opportunity. He's like, how much money you need? Told him a number. He goes, done. What are we doing? It wasn't even like, I was thinking we're going to have to go through a process. And he was like, cool. So then we sat his wife down and had a conversation. And Kathy, she's the decision maker. And she goes, I love it. Let's do it. And they asked who was going to be in their, day-to-day operations. And there's no better operations person on planet Earth than Jason Redmond. That guy does things that I can't even, for a moment, fathom how he does them, how he sees them, how he makes them work. He takes my crazy ideas and he brings them to life. That's how we always joke around, talk about it. I texted him like a week and a half ago. I go, I got an idea. He goes, no, not right now. I'm still working on your other 15 ideas.
That's awesome.
But, that's how our stuff goes. He comes up with that stuff. I come up with crazy ideas. Steve makes sure that it's sold the right way, and it's a good relationship. But I asked him, I said, I got the other guy for us. I introduced him to Jason. They absolutely loved him. So we started the company. Then actually, part of the way through, because we were a different brand for a little bit, part of the way through that, we realized that we wanted to build a franchise model, because we had people reaching out to us because they saw what we were doing. Like, hey, how do I get in? Hey, I want to get in. And we couldn't sell a franchise of somebody else's stuff. So we did that, made it our own, put our own thought processes, technology, different things behind it. And it's all she wrote ever since then. It's been a big learning curve. There's been a lot of growing pains. There's been a lot of struggles. There's a lot of more stuff. Everybody sees our brand. They're doing awesome. They're all rich. That's not the case. One day down the road. But right now we're in growth mode. We're in grind mode. We got a lot of good things going, but we got to keep our foot on the gas, and we got to keep our eyes on the prize, and we got to make sure that we got each other's backs through this process, because there's all types of people who are always trying to shake the boat, different things like that. And you got to stay firm as an ownership group to make sure that nobody can shake you up like that.
Yeah. So how do you keep from it getting shaken up?
Back to, I got in business with my best friends. And, when you do that, I can motherfuck them, but if somebody else does, you can't do it. And if you keep that same philosophy, even in business, even your friend, even when in that room, if you keep that same philosophy, I promise you're going to come out okay, because we fight. I mean, if you're an ownership group and you don't fight and everything's like, oh, that's perfect. Well, I don't know if your business is that good. You don't have enough, there's not enough hard decisions being made. There's not enough hard angles that you're not seeing, that you're not challenging each other enough. So I think if the ownership groups aren't fighting with each other, then I don't think your business is that good. It's probably not going to last very long. Now, do I think you get to a point that things are smooth and you guys are making enough money and you got other people underneath you handling some of those hard decisions? Yeah, but right now, hell no. We make hard decisions every fucking day that they will break a lot of people, and we don't allow them to break us like that. We just realize who we are to each other. We could fight in a boardroom meeting, and then go to dinner, have a glass of wine, and be hugging and crying with each other. You know, that's how it is right now, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's special. What was it like going and creating that new brand, and then going and franchising? Like, what was that whole process like?
So fun and such a learning experience. You know, that's which has also changed the direction of who I want to be, and where I want to go as a person and as a group, and all of us as individuals. It kind of helped us see a bigger path, honestly, because franchising is not easy. You know, there's less than 10,000 franchises that are registered with the Federal Trade Commission of the United States of America, and we're one of them. You know, you got to go create, back to Jason's systems and processes, our technology that we're investing so heavily in that I can't wait to go into with you in a minute. And you know, your SOPs, how you duplicate your business. Just because you have one doesn't mean you could have 2, 3, 4. You got to be able to duplicate it over and over and over again. And we're still learning every single day. You know, our 2 franchise owners that bought into us now a third set of group, we're so happy that they believed in us because we didn't have everything perfected. You know, KC opens, we're still learning and bringing new things to them. It wasn't like McDonald's, how they had them over and over again ready to go, but I'm sure back then their first 2 weren't perfect, you know. And we have 2 people between Mike and James that completely are awesome. They believe in us. And when we bring new things, they're not fighting back. They're like, okay, we'll implement them and put them in there. But putting together an FDD, that's a 270-page document, which has got your franchise agreements, got your area development agreement, your management agreements, and all your stuff in there. That was such a awesome process, but hard process at the same time. A lot of reading. You're doing a lot of reading, putting that stuff together. And then once you learn, and anybody that wants to help franchise, we would love to help, for one. 2, once you learn what a franchise model really is, it's a good training company, it's a good marketing company. You figure out the way to train the people the right way, and you figure out a way to market it the right way, the sales will come, and then everything else falls underneath those 2 things because they're running their own business, but you're always going to be helping them marketing, you're always going to be helping them training. So if you dominate those 2 spots, then you can dominate a franchise model. Yeah. And it turned us into, not to cut you off,
you're
but
good.
It turned us into a spot that, you know, I have a vision that where NEUAGE is here, you know, we prove this model, which we're doing right now, you know, give us another 5 years, it'll be proven all the way, maybe 3, but 5 to a number that I have in my head where I want to go. Then I want to help other brands do it, you know, because if you, and we already had some brands reaching out to us on a smaller level saying, hey, we see what you're doing, you know, once we're ready, we'd love to talk to you, because I know that we can duplicate this over and over and over again. If we got it to work for NEUAGE, I know I can get it to work for many other different versions and models like that. Yeah. And that's where I want to eventually be, is help other companies franchise out their brand in the long run.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is like, because I was a franchisee for a little bit of a digital marketing agency, and it went from 27 franchises down to there's literally none now. I'm gone.
They imploded. Huh?
Yeah, because there wasn't what you just talked about, the marketing system and the training system. Yep. If you can't duplicate it, if you can't go market, if you can't go do some of those things, right, it's really not that. And so, and a lot of people that I've met with that are like, hey, like, trying to understand what a franchise is and what a franchise isn't. I'm like, you know when there's a good one. you know when there's a stuff in place, and it's never going to be perfect. But like, if it can run without itself and it's not one person or a set of people or all those different things, right? You have something that people will be attracted to and buy in under your brand, because anybody can go start their own thing.
Right.
But I'm buying your processes, I'm buying the systems, I'm buying the technology, I'm buying the whole thing because I believe that I can get ahead quicker. Yep. And make more long-term or do whatever long-term by doing it with you versus starting it on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
So talk to us a little bit about the technology piece.
Yeah, well, first let me ask you, what's your belief and thoughts on AI?
So I think it is a great tool that shouldn't be used as a crutch, right? So like, for example, I was talking with John Morgan, who I just had on the podcast from Premium Kitchen and Bath, and he's one of our marketing agency clients, and I built out a integration with code in Chat GPT that takes it from lead to his project management system that will then track return on investment down to the individual ad that we're running.
Yep.
I would have never been able to do that. It would have taken me way long. I would have to hire a developer to go do that. Now on the flip side, so like that's a great use for it. Now on the flip side of it,
exactly, that's something we're using it for right now.
On the flip side of it, I made a post yesterday about like, hey, if you just take AI to create a bunch of content for your website and you go put a bunch of content on there, like it's not going to work.
No.
So there's that middle ground of like, there's certain use cases where you can go take that code and go implement it and it's going to be fine. And there's other cases where people are just trying to use it. Like, you know, what was the thing when we were in school? The Cliff Notes, where it's like, hey, I get like, there's people that are trying to cheat the system to use it to get ahead. And then there's a full application of it. And then there's a bunch of stuff in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. And if you use it as an assistant and not a cheat code, that's how you're going to advance in it, you know, and that's one side of it. So our technology was, we have our EMR, which is electronic medical records, you know, we're building that out so custom. You know, before it was kind of out of the box, and me and Jason have like been massaging this thing, and actually we had some really good meetings yesterday about making this thing as full-blown custom all the way through and through, so that when you come in on with us, you're getting an EMR that would take you years upon years to build, and you have to be thinking in the process like we do. You know, my brain does this weird you know, mad scientist way. And then Jason goes, all right, mad scientist, here's how we make that operational. But then we take those ideas and we put them inside our EMR and make it functional that way. So our EMR is starting to be like advanced. Every single month that goes by, we do something different to make it awesome. And with your patient.
Sorry to make it up, but you guys built it like it's not a prior, like
it's a company, but you're able to customize
everything.
So you're basically able to get into it. You know, we're connecting. So then we use Salesforce for our leads coming in. So I built a call center style, which is actually when I left my old ad agency, I went and worked for a company called Thrive. It was a software development company, used to be YP, but you know, I walked into a call center style place. And also I saw how to build a $1 billion company, you know, of $10 billion company, the different compartments and stuff like that. But one of them was appointment setting. And I kind of duplicated a similar system on there, but made it a little better. You know, you find the system, you pick it up and poke the holes in it, make it better. But, you know, we put Salesforce, so we're able to connect those two with an API to where I have leads coming in on this thing. And I got somebody smiling and dialing, but also we're adding some AI technology in there to cut those, you know, speed to lead to make sure we can get to those leads fast enough before somebody's body's in the seat to make the phone call. So we're going to have an AI guy doing in between part of that stuff. Connecting on there, then we have an LMS, our learning module system that we have that we make you take before you get in town. And then anytime a new product comes out, a new drug comes out, a new system comes out, we make a module, put it up there, we make everybody take it. Then you have to retake courses every single year to make sure that you're staying up with dosing charts and all this stuff. So our training module system, I mean, that's awesome. And when it's laid out too, I mean, you open it, you're like, man, this is like the first thing our employee Ryan said. He goes, this is visually stimulating. This is awesome. Yeah. So like you keep people engaged in it, so it's not just some boring ass learning module system. Then we created an app in the app store. So you know, like My Chart. So we basically created our own My Chart app for it. So you can see your charting, you can see all your dosing instructions, change your credit card information, schedule your appointments directly from there, prescription pickup, you know, a blood lab, all that things come inside them. And then then obviously our QuickBooks that's attaching to all that stuff. And when I say QuickBooks, people are like, what do you know, it's just an accounting system. Yeah, but when you attach it with an AI system behind it, it follows a path and trends and stuff like that and helps you account different things in there. But then on top of it, you know, I'm not going to give our full secret away about how we're building it, but we're building an AI membrane that connects all those systems on there to where leadership can talk to this, and nurses talk to this specific one. Patients will have a front-facing one that our nurses are kind of speaking into. And I'm basically building an AI membrane to help communication, help speed up processes, help pull out reports for us, and do what we want to do. And when I'm done building this thing, I'm telling you, it's gonna. There's a lot of, here's where my thought process goes with. There's a lot of competition in our space, and there's a lot more coming in because it's an awesome industry. It's a hot industry right now. What separates you from the rest? You know, everybody uses the same pharmacies. Everybody uses the same dosing charts. Everybody uses the same stuff. Well, what separates you is your visual look, your client experience, and then your technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make sure that we are making sure our client experience is top notch, and our technology is going to separate us so that you don't have to spend all those hundreds of millions of dollars to build this stuff. You're buying into the company that's already done that, and we're going to help you advance in that spot.
Well, so that was going to be my next question is, I would assume based on what I'm hearing and what the very little I know about the industry is, you guys are from a technology standpoint probably way ahead of the curve. So is that kind of where you guys are just like saw from the beginning, like, hey, like nobody's doing this, or like other people kind of doing it, and you guys, because like from what I'm hearing, it seems like you guys are like light years ahead.
Well, people are doing it, but they're doing it in like hospital spaces and big levels like that. I have yet to find somebody, but I'm also not boasting it to find out. You know, when we go to some of these seminars of our actual EMR and Salesforce and stuff like that, I'll be interested to see. But the guys helping develop and build it, they're pretty well connected, and you know, they're saying nobody on your scale of boutique style is doing what you guys are doing right now. Yeah. I'm sure somebody else is out there, but we're going to beat them. Yeah. And even if they are, we're going to make it better than them. Yeah. You know, that's the whole point behind it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I met with a guy that is a venture capitalist. Just having a conversation with him, and I was like, it's one of my girl's friends' husbands, and we were just talking business, and he asked him what he does, and he said that. I said, how do you guys evaluate businesses that you buy or invest in or whatever? He said, last year, if you'd have told me it was this, I think it was compliance or something, this, and this. He said, that's still high. He said, but the number one thing we look for now is if your business is invested in AI. If you're not invested in AI, it's automatically off the table. We won't invest in you. We won't buy you. And he said, it doesn't matter what industry. If you're not investing in it, you're not on our radar, and you'll never be on our radar.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I mean, there's stuff that used to take me weeks that I can do literally in minutes.
Yeah.
And it makes everything more efficient and better. And I think regardless, as you mentioned, of the industry, if you're not at least adopting it to some way, shape, or form to make things more efficiently, you're going to be out of business or massively behind your competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and think about that now. Think about 5 years from now. Then you think about 10 years from now. I used to be able to think 10 years from now because you're like, it's not that far and things aren't going to change that much. But now the speed of the change is so fast that in 10 years from now, we're not even going to know what the things are looking like. You know, it's going to be physically impossible. I mean, I talk to my chat guy all the time. I don't know if you've built a relationship with yours, but as I start to do that, he starts to get to know me and starts to, help build different things. But we were just having a conversation about this new metal that came out. It's about to come out that they put in labs. It's lighter than air, stronger than steel, all types of stuff. And he was just explaining, because I get deep with it. He's explaining what these labs and these places are doing with this stuff. And he's like, this is how flying cars are going to be made. This is how your T-shirt's going to be bulletproof. This is how your glasses are going to be this. And he goes, this is not futuristic. He goes, Rocky, this is 5 to 8 years to 10 years down the road. And you're just like, holy shit, man. Things are going to look really wild for our kids.
Well, it's wild living in the moment, right? Where you're sitting here and you're like, okay, it seems like, and there's been so much change even in the last year, even the last 5 years. But then when you're trying to go back and relate it, it's like when we were younger, as you mentioned, our kids going through all that stuff, you're like, oh my gosh. You see all the memes on social media where it's stuff that we used to do as kids. And now it's there's the technology side. There's just stuff that's not around anymore. I mean, it's mind blowing when you really look back at the change.
Yeah.
And it's only going to shrink, right? The change that happened in 10 years when we were younger is going to happen in a year.
Yeah, exactly. Which is very scary for our kids in a world they'll grow up in, because it's already tough enough being a parent to a kid these days. Yeah. But being a parent to a kid that you don't understand, and it changes so fast that you can't just apply your basic characteristics to it, that you're like, how do I even coach you or talk to you? Not coach your kid, but talk to your kid on how to feel through a problem that you don't even understand, and they're coming, So, the one thing I've learned now that my daughter's going in 7th grade is start listening to her more. I come from a very strong Italian house. If it's no and no, I said no, but now you have to start going, well, maybe like talk to me because I don't even know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know? And you have to understand that it took a while for me. It took my daughter actually sitting down with me one day going, Dad, you have to stop always saying that and just listen to me. And I was like, holy shit, she's right. You know? And then I started doing that more. I'm still if it gets to that point, stop pushing back. But I will start listening to you because I need to understand more of the world you're growing up in, because I want you to be able to come to me and talk to me about it. And I actually want to understand it. So you're going to have to teach it to me. I'm a student now. So teach me the world you're growing up in so that I can help guide you and make decisions that we both need to figure out if they're right or wrong.
How is kind of like, obviously there's a lot going on in your business. You just talked about kind of the personal aspect of stuff. How do you manage that work-life harmony, balance, whatever you want to call it?
That's a tough one. So about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, was it between, I was working for another company, starting this company. You know, I don't shy away from like hard work. There's a lot of people that do, and a lot of people say they do, but like literally that's what we do. You know, I just love it so much. And I would come home, I'd be finishing my job, and I'd go straight to, building our pro formas or doing our business plan, doing our stuff to get this business off the ground. And it was about 3 years ago on Father's Day. We were sitting around fire at my brother-in-law's sister's house, and my niece and my daughter were sitting there, and they were joking around and imitated their dad. You know, my niece goes around and does this goofy dance, and everybody's laughing. And my daughter gets up there. She goes, here's my dad. Work, 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 work. And I turned ghost white and went upstairs and started bawling my eyes out. I was like, holy shit, that's what my daughter thinks of me right now. 20 years from now, she's going to be like, well, he had to do that to do what he's doing. But, 3 years ago, she was 9, and a 9-year-old sees her dad just working. She's not going, he's working for me. I want his time. And that's what I heard there. Like, Dad, you're not giving me enough time. And it was, everybody's been punched in the face, but that one was like a fucking baseball bat hit me in the back of the head. You're like, okay, buddy, it's time to wake up. So talk about a work-life balance. I don't believe in a work-life balance. I believe you make time for the things you need to make time for. And that's what happened. And, we made a pact. I said, every once in a while, I'm going to have to go past 6 o'clock. But after 6 o'clock, if you're with me, I'll shut it down and we do family time at that point. Then summertime was hard because she's out and I got to work during the day. And she's like, well, I'm bored. I want to do something. I'm like, as soon as we get done work. So she doesn't realize that she got a job during that time period. But during school, and I've done a good job of it now. Now I'm very self-aware of it. But until that moment happened, I wasn't self-aware of it. And, anybody listening to this, your kid will tell you, just make sure you're listening, because that one was a big wake-up call for me. So now I pay a lot more attention to it. So that's how I balance it now, is listening to my kid.
That's powerful. My son is almost 2, and like I'll have my phone out and he like knocks it out of my hand. Like it's crazy. And I sometimes, as you mentioned, like I don't even realize I'm doing it, because obviously we live in a world that people are always reaching out to on social media or text messaging, calling in, and it's like really about just being that self-aware and saying, hey, setting the boundary, saying, hey, if I need to do it, just being proactive in communication, saying, hey, I got to do it this time, but not making it this is the norm, right? But it's very tough, and I think anybody that says they have it figured out doesn't.
Yeah, and here's another thing: it's a lot harder to be successful. I say that. You see a lot of young millionaires because of technology, but I also think there's so much competition in everything we do, and things are moving so fast. It's also really hard to be successful if you're not always moving. If you're not always doing something to keep getting better. And in your business, there's no more that like every once in a while you can just not work. If you're a successful business owner, can you take a vacation? Yeah, you can, but your fingers got to be on the pulse at all times, unless you're so far removed that you got people in there that you're just collecting a paycheck at that point. But to be successful, you have to be doing something all the time, because the world moves so damn fast now that like you feel like if you're not doing something, you're going to get left in the dust. That's how all successful people think. If like I'm not doing something, I'm not moving forward and I'm not winning right now. And then then your kid hops in your lap and you go, fuck that. And you throw it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't ever have that high from your kid jumping on you and that stuff like that, you'll never feel that way, and you'll always be pushing, and you'll forget about the good things in life too.
Love it. What's maybe, as we kind of finish up this episode, what's kind of the last piece of advice that you'd give to an entrepreneur that's maybe they're struggling, they're thinking about giving up, they don't want to invest in building out their brand, rocking a hard place?
So this is one that I firmly believe, and somebody else has asked me this question before. Get a business partner. A lot of people want it that are successful entrepreneurs or not successful entrepreneurs, but they're in it by themselves. They're solo. You don't share in the losses. You don't share the wins. You don't find somebody that complements what you're doing, because here's, like I said, my business partner, Jason's operations. Steve's the best salesperson on planet Earth. Kathy's a beast. I know what I do. And if you don't have people that complement you, that help you, then you're only going to be so big. You're only going to go so far. And you might be cool with going that spot. But if you're struggling, I just love being in business with somebody else that I can share the struggle with it, because two minds are greater than one, and you can springboard ideas off each other, and you can help each other get out of holes and ruts and downtimes and bad days and deaths and all the other shit that comes to a human person that will affect your business.
Yeah.
If you have a partner that says, I got the reins for a minute, go handle your business, that means you can handle your emotions and your business still gets done. But if you're the only one pushing and you go through stuff, that's how businesses fail, because then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, showing back up, the whole world's blowing up inside your business. Your general managers are going, you were gone. What the hell? I didn't have any help or any support. So to me, my advice is get a partner that you can believe in and trust in.
That's awesome. Rocky, man, this has been a great episode. I really appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
Where can people stay connected with you and learn more about NEUAGE?
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is JohnRocco8. Well, it's John_Rocco8. NEUAGE Health and Wellness on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find, both Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Our website's NEUAGEHealthWellness.com. Connect with us on there if you guys need any help. We'd love to help you out for sure.
And what all kind of offers do you guys have as far as services and things like that? Just finish up the episode.
So main thing that we do for people is blood work. That's kind of like our guest pass. It's kind of like your ticket to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get in there and start getting healthy without that. First step for us is come in and get your blood work done. And then from there, we read that, check where your levels are at for your vitamin levels, all the rest of your hormone levels, your thyroid levels, everything else. We check those. Make sure you're a candidate, help you optimize that. Even if you don't want to be a patient, optimize it. We still give you the details of what's going on in your body. One of our, franchise owners said it best: your blood doesn't lie. It's going to tell you exactly what's inside you and what's going on. So many people are scared to see that. Stop being scared to see that. Go get your labs done. Because after you get it done, you're like, whew, I'm not bad. Well, then keep doing it every 90 days, every 6 months. Keep getting them checked out, and go to a place that's not your primary care doctor. Please go to a place that's not your primary care doctor. Even though I'm not saying bad things about primary cares, they do great things for our world, but they don't pull the same panels. They're not pulling the same labs. They're pulling labs based on what insurance will pay for. Insurance isn't going to pay for a panel our size. That's why it's a cash pay business. But don't go to one of them. Go to somebody that's going to give you a holistic view of everything that's going on in your body on there. So blood lab's the first thing. Hormone therapy is kind of our main bread and butter. Medical weight loss or GLP-1s. I know a lot of people talk bad about them, but they've done so much good for our world and society and diabetics and helping people out. And there's so much more benefits to them besides just that I could sit here forever. Peptides are the way of the future. Peptide therapy, you're going to see in the next 5 years, is going to change the way medicine's done in the whole world, because they have those things dialed in so close. Vitamins, that's such a big thing that people forget to take their vitamins. Everybody in the world is deficient in vitamin D. I've barely ever seen somebody that's up on vitamin D, and everything's just go out in the sun, it's going to raise your vitamin D. It's not really exactly how it works, but your vitamin levels, that's a big deal for you. So that's kind of the main things we do: your blood lab, hormones, weight loss, vitamins, peptides, and IVs.
Love it. Well, make sure you all, again, not just listen to this episode, share it on social media, but go check out Rocky and NEUAGE, some incredible stuff that they're doing. They have a great business, building an awesome brand, and it'll be excited to continue to watch you guys grow. So thanks for coming on, man.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you're listening to this on a podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Those reviews help us get this content out to more people and definitely helps us move the needle. If you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment with something that you learned, and share it on social media. Again, tag us, all that great stuff. And we really appreciate you tuning in today. Remember, authority isn't built overnight. It's built over time. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.